guys, so today I want to talk about a topic that's a little bit controversial, and that is wedding registries. So we're going to talk about what a wedding registry is, how it works exactly, and then whether or not you need to have one, and whether or not you can just ask for money instead, or some of the other alternatives to wedding registries. So we're going to talk about kind of the etiquette surrounding this, I guess, and then my opinion, and hopefully you'll be empowered to make your own decision about this going forward. My name is Brittany from wayfaringweddings.com, where I write about planning my own wedding, which I'm hoping to make as eco-friendly and budget-friendly as possible, as well as making videos for this channel. So please, if you like this video, actually like it and subscribe to my channel for more wedding talk just like this. All right, so let's get right into it. Wedding registries. So what is a wedding registry? It's a pretty simple concept. It's just essentially making a list of gifts that you want, and your wedding guests can choose one of those gifts from your list and then buy it for you. So you end up with a gift that you actually want instead of some random weird gift that your auntie picked out for you. So the way it works now is it's all online. You would, for example, like Google Bed Bath & Beyond wedding registry, and then you sign up for a wedding registry and just start picking out the gifts that you want, and they give you like a link, and you put that link on your wedding website so your guests can see it. Your guests would go click on this link and then just choose one of the gifts from the list that you've made, and that gift gets sent directly to your home. So it's pretty convenient that way. You don't end up with like a bunch of gifts or physical gifts at your wedding that you have to like find a place to put. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty convenient for both you and the person giving you the gift. So that's a wedding registry. So the controversial point here, do you need to have a wedding registry? If you ask any kind of wedding website or etiquette book, they will say these days that yes, you should have a wedding registry, that it's not considered rude or like you're asking for gifts, because it's just become so pervasive. Everybody does wedding registries, not only for weddings, but like for baby showers and even birthdays. So because it's become so normal, it's recommended that you have one. And also it makes it easier for your guests, because a lot of people are going to want to buy you something anyway, so this is just making it easy for them to be able to pick something off a list. So that's kind of where it stands from the etiquette point of view. Of course, depending on where you are in the world and your culture, this can vary a lot. But in North America, this is my sense that it's kind of the norm now to have a wedding registry, and to just put that on your wedding website, not on your invitation. Putting it on your invitation is considered rude. So that's sort of the etiquette part of it. Now my opinion, I guess, is a little bit different on this. We didn't want a wedding registry just because we've been together for years now, my partner and I, and we just don't need any more stuff. And we don't like the idea of using the opportunity of a wedding registry to just upgrade the stuff that we already have. It's just not part of our values. We don't want to get rid of stuff that's working just fine for new stuff. We just personally don't want to do that. So there are alternatives to wedding registries that I really like and that other people may disagree with, but I don't care. I think that you have to do what you want. You have to do what aligns with your values and not be pressured into having a wedding registry just because other people want you to have it, and not just because it's the thing to do. If there are things that you really need or really want, and you see this as an opportunity to get those things, I guess it makes sense for you to have a wedding registry. But if it's just like something you feel like you have to do, like, I'll just sign up for some bed sheets even though I don't want them, that doesn't really make sense, right? So yeah, if you're getting a wedding registry, just make sure that you're doing it because you want to be doing it, not because you're feeling forced to. As far as asking for money, I tend to agree with the etiquette books that it's just not super cool to straight up ask people for money. But I know that this is also a cultural thing. It really varies depending on where you're from. I would feel really uncomfortable just asking people for money. You know, if it's offered, that's one thing, but asking for it makes me feel kind of weird. Yeah, let me know what you think about this. Maybe you can write in the comments, what are your feelings about wedding registries? Are they cool? Are they not cool? Is it tacky to have a wedding registry? Is it like you're asking for gifts? What do you think? And is it okay to ask for money? And if so, what is the way to do that? Like, what is the wording? How would you ask people for money? Personally, I just find it, even making a wedding registry, I find really hard to do. Personally, I find it really hard to ask people for money or gifts, even if it's a wedding registry. I know that it's so normal, but beyond the not wanting anything, I would just feel strange asking for gifts. Just because we're adults and we don't want to ask other adults for presents. I know that's dumb a lot. It's very normal to do this, but I guess gift giving is just not my love language. In the first place, the idea of wedding registries came from the 1920s when couples were getting married really young. So you think about like your grandparents or even your parents getting married at like 18, 19 years old, and they were moving out of their parents' house and then in together, and so they had nothing. So asking for things on their wedding registry like plates and all of this kind of kitchenware stuff was really essential. Whereas these days, most couples have lived together for a while when they get married, at least in North America. And so asking for stuff on a wedding registry in some cases seems a little bit silly to me, to be honest. And I know that's gonna make people mad, but it just seems a little bit outdated, just like a reason to buy more stuff. And that's what I think don't like about wedding registries. Okay, so let's talk about some alternatives to a traditional wedding registry that are maybe a little bit more eco-friendly or just better align with what you might need in your life or want in your life. So one thing you can do instead of a traditional wedding registry is to ask for donations to a charity or to some kind of foundation that you believe in. I think this is really cool. It's like one time in your life you can ask for donations for something you care about without like having to run a marathon or something like that. Another thing that people do is to ask for contributions toward their honeymoon, so something like honey funds, which could be cool. I mean, I think I agree that it's probably better to ask for money towards an experience than to ask for stuff. I'm more on board with that than asking for sheets, but it's really this is really individual, and it's going to depend on who you are personally. Another idea I really like is to ask for edible gifts or drinkable gifts. So to ask for like a bottle of wine, so you can build up a pretty awesome wine collection for your wedding. Or maybe something that's jarred, nothing perishable, because if you get like 100, although it would be awesome, 100 like things of cheese, they're gonna go bad before you have a chance to eat all of them. Another thing you could do is to ask for help or service. So like if your guests do any kind of floral arranging, for example, or just like asking people beyond being frienders, just asking if people would volunteer their time to help you set up at your wedding or do any of the cleanup. So depending on what kind of wedding you're having. But like for us, we're having a wedding in like a backyard style wedding, so it would be really nice to have people offer to help set up or tear down or just like make sure the area is clean, things like that. So yeah, just kind of helping for wedding planning. Asking for wedding planning help would be a really nice gift, and of course you'll have to thank people profusely if they're doing something like this for you. Other ideas are like helping bartending, just like picking up ice, doing like little errands the day of or the day before the wedding. That would be a really, really great gift. Another cool idea that will actually take more work is to thrift your wedding, have your wedding registry be a thrift store wedding registry. So you would just ask people to buy you things from thrift stores and consignment shops. So like you need a toaster, classic toaster, and you would ask somebody to buy that for you secondhand. I've never been to a wedding where somebody did this, but I really like the idea of it. I don't know how it would work logistically. I guess maybe you could like make a list of things that you'd like on your website, but then you don't know if somebody's bought it for you or not. So managing this might take a little bit of extra work. Maybe you would need to put somebody in charge of like your thrifted items request list or something like that. But if you were able to make it work, it would be really cool. That's one of the benefits of all of these online wedding registries, is they're so dang convenient, right? But a thrift store wedding registry, if somebody could invent that and make it work. If it already exists, please let me know. I just think this is a really awesome idea. Or you could do what we did and just have no registry and ask for sentimental gifts. So this is maybe too cheesy for some people, but it would be nice to ask for like letters or cards. I think sometimes we think that like you have to give some kind of expensive gift, but really just like a nicely written card is a great gift in my opinion. I really wanted to make this video because I think, first of all, that the wedding industry is out of control, and all of the things that you have to buy as a guest for a wedding are kind of out of control. The expectations, I mean, for this. I think about myself as like a young 20-something being invited to weddings and feeling a lot of pressure to buy something from the wedding registry, and sometimes the cheapest thing on it would be like $50. And that's like on top of flying to the wedding, staying in a hotel, transportation, like, you know, like whether it be Uber, renting a car, and then also getting a gift. And it's just a lot to expect from people. And so I'm hoping that we can kind of bring that down to earth. And I don't really like the idea of having a wedding and then your guests give you something in exchange and that's an expected thing. If it's offered, that's one thing, that's great. But expecting that your guests will pay for their part of the wedding, going into it with that thought, I just don't really like this philosophy. I think that you should have the wedding that you're able to afford financially, and then if you get contributions from people on top of that, that's just extra. But not like we'll have a $10,000 wedding and then we'll expect each person to give us $100 so it'll pay for itself. I just don't really like the idea of this. I think that gifts should be given because they want to be given, whether it's a physical gift or a gift of money or service. And you can suggest things in you know, like if you're asked, you can suggest, oh, well, it would be really nice if you did this. So yeah, just like straight up asking for money or asking for gifts is really hard for me. I just don't really like the idea of it. I don't know, but maybe it's a really cultural thing, and maybe it's just me. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel for more wedding talk just like this. See you later.